You haven't sent a text to anyone for the last 3 months. Your birthday came and went without any big plans or even a single complaint from you. Someone reached out and asked if you wanted to grab coffee or hang out, and you simply replied, "Sorry, I'm busy." But the funny thing is, you weren't making it up. You really were busy guarding your own peace of mind. And truthfully, you've never felt so free and light before. Now, people label you as cold or distant. They say you're the one who suddenly changed, the one who just cut off all ties with everyone. But no one's stopping to ask the real question. What if you didn't actually cut people out? What if you just stopped faking it and admitted that you were already feeling alone all along? Let's dive into the psychology behind folks who decide to walk away from everybody in their life. And here's a little heads up. It's not some evil villain backstory like others might think. First off, we need to set the record straight. You didn't just wake up one day and decide to be heartless. It took years for you to get to this point. Years of being that dependable friend who always showed up no matter what. You drive for hours to help someone through their tough times. Remember everyone's birthdays like it was your personal mission, and be the go-to person whenever anyone needed a favor or a shoulder to lean on. You were the rock, the one holding everything together, the friend everyone relied on in their moments of need. But then, something shifted when you were the one who needed support. Silence. Maybe you got a quick "sorry to hear that" message, or someone promised they'd call you back soon. But that call never came. All of a sudden, things didn't add up anymore. Your mind started doing this smart thing without you even noticing. It began weighing the pros and cons of every relationship, like running a mental checklist or spreadsheet. You'd ask yourself, how much effort and energy am I putting into this? And what am I really getting in return? The answers were heartbreaking. You realized you were always the one starting the conversations, sending the first text. You were the one bending your schedule, canceling your own plans, and putting your needs on the back burner just to make things work for others. But when you look back, how often did they do the same for you? It was like a desert. Nothing there. This is where the mind stuff gets really cool and interesting. Your nervous system, which is basically your body's built-in survival tool, started spotting a repeating pattern. Every time you opened up and let someone close, every time you gave your full heart to a friendship or relationship, it ended the same way. You'd be left picking up the broken pieces by yourself. Think about that friend who disappeared when you were going through a rough patch with depression, or the partner who bailed when life got challenging. Your brain learned a hard lesson. Getting close to people often leads to being left behind eventually. So, to protect yourself, you took control of the only thing you could, the way out. You started leaving first, and this is the part that really confuses people around you. It hurts way less to be abandoned when you're the one choosing to walk away. Others might call it self-sabotage, like you're ruining things on purpose. But for you, it's just smart thinking based on what you've seen happen over and over. It's like recognizing a bad pattern and deciding not to repeat it. But this didn't just pop up out of nowhere in your adult life. It goes back to your childhood, where the seeds were planted. Maybe you had a parent who was around physically but checked out emotionally. They weren't there when you needed them to listen or care. Or perhaps you were the kid who figured out early on that you had to handle everything solo, because asking for help just led to disappointment. You'd hear things like, "not right now," or "figure it out yourself," or even worse, total silence. Maybe your emotions were brushed off as no big deal. "Don't be so sensitive," or "other kids have it tougher than you." From those early days, your nervous system soaked up the idea that relying on people is risky business. It was still growing and learning how the world works, so those experiences shaped your view of relationships. They became your guidebook for what to expect when you let someone in close. And as you grew up, every new friendship or romance seemed to prove that old lesson right. Sooner or later, you'll end up alone. The care and love always seem to dry up eventually. Your body and mind adapted to this reality not because something's wrong with you, but because it's trying to keep you safe. It's all about learning from what life's thrown at you. Now, here's where things get even more intriguing. People accuse you of building these huge walls to keep everyone out, but that's not quite accurate. What you've really done is set up boundaries. There's a big difference there. Walls block everybody, no exceptions. Boundaries are smarter. They filter out the people who aren't good for you, the ones who bring more harm than help. The issue is, after dealing with so many wrong people over the years, those boundaries can start to look like solid walls to outsiders. And honestly, That might be perfectly fine for now. Why does this matter so much? This stage in your life isn't about swearing off all human connection for good. It's about being picky and not letting just anyone have easy access to your time and heart. You haven't stopped craving real relationships. You've just stopped settling for ones that feel familiar but dangerous. You've turned into an expert at spotting signs of abandonment early on. You can pick them up in the first few chats, like the friend who only messages when they want a favor. You notice they never bother to ask how you're holding up. Or the person who's all in when things are fun and easy, but vanishes like a ghost when challenges arise. That you've sharpened what experts in psychology call hypervigilance, but not in a way that makes you overly suspicious or paranoid. Instead, it's the kind that helps you see things clearly and accurately. You're catching those tiny clues that most people overlook, the slight change in how someone talks to you, the excuses that always seem to benefit them more than you, the way all the effort comes from your side only. This isn't just negative thinking. It's based on real observations and patterns you've collected over time that you've gotten really good at understanding the signs of people who aren't emotionally available. You can decode every "I've been so busy" excuse into what it truly means. They're not making you a priority. Promises start to feel predictable, like you know they'll fizzle out. Every "we should catch up soon" turns into nothing, just as you suspected. You've seen this cycle play out with enough folks that it doesn't shock you anymore. So now, you end it quickly and quietly. You stop being the one to reach out first. You stop pushing to make things happen. And then you wait to see if they notice or step up. Spoiler, they usually don't. And that silence? It confirms everything you already knew. The deepest loneliness you ever felt wasn't after you distanced yourself from everyone. It was way before that, when you were surrounded by so-called friends, but still felt unseen and invisible. Or in a relationship where you were technically with someone, but emotionally, you were all by yourself. Being physically alone didn't start the loneliness. It just stopped the fake act of pretending it wasn't there already. What catches people off guard is that going solo doesn't hurt as much as you might have imagined. Those holidays spent alone, birthdays without a flood of messages, or handling an emergency without calling anyone for help. You braced for total heartbreak, but instead, you found peace in the quiet. And that quiet, it became your best friend, the sound you look forward to. Folks on the outside don't get why you'd pick isolation over trying to connect. They miss the point that, for you, being alone isn't the enemy of real connection. It's actually a break from constant rejection. It's the one place where no one can abandon you because there's no one close enough to do it. You're not being cold-hearted. You're being smart and clear about what you need. You're not shutting down completely. You're shielding yourself from more pain. This isn't about quitting on relationships forever. It's about saying no to the messed up versions you've dealt with time and again, the ones full of one-way streets, where you're always giving and performing, waiting for people who never fully show up. It's like deciding, if this is all relationships have to offer, endless imbalance and feeling used, then I'd rather go without for now. And here's a truth no one really talks about. Choosing to put yourself first isn't selfish at all. It's pure survival mode. It's realizing you can't keep giving away your energy when your own tank is empty, especially to people who treat you like a pit stop. They show up only when it's convenient for them and forget you exist otherwise. You know what's even crazier? In the stories those people tell about you when you're not around, you're not the bad guy, no matter how they spin it. You're just the person who finally stopped hanging around, waiting for them to value you, and started valuing yourself instead. Maybe someday you'll give it another shot. Maybe you'll cross paths with someone who makes being close feel secure and good, not scary. Maybe you'll find friends who show up consistently without you having to chase them or prove your worth. But for right now, you're focused on protecting that inner part of you that still holds onto a bit of hope. You're keeping that little spark going by not letting anyone snuff it out again. Cutting everyone off isn't about lacking love. It's about loving yourself enough to preserve your well-being. It's your body's way of saying, that's enough hurt for now. You're not cold. You're in survival mode. You're not throwing in the towel. You're prioritizing your own needs for the first time. Honestly, those boundaries you've set up, the ones others call walls, they're not trapping you inside. They're keeping you safe and alive. They're creating room for you to heal and grow into someone who might be open to trying again one day, but only if it's on terms that respect and honor who you truly are. Right here, In this calm space you've made by removing all the toxic stuff that was draining you bit by bit, it's not the sad ending others might expect or want for you. It's the path that's helping you stay whole and strong. If this hits home for you, think about checking out more content like this. We're all about figuring out your own patterns without any judgment and learning ways to create real connections that don't drain you or cost you your peace.